moms, it's Lanisha Holland here, your favorite mompreneur and lifestyle coach for all of my fabulous moms at Boss. I want to thank you for tuning in to our success workshop on how to stand out in a saturated market. Because I've done a workshop on this before, but this is the 2.0 version. So we know that there are so many people out there that are doing the exact same thing that you are doing. You did not know, I run Happily Naturally Me, which is a natural skincare line. Most of the products are shea butter based. Whip Shea Butter was my very first product that I created. And now everybody and their mother sells Whip Shea Butter. So every single market is saturated. It doesn't matter. So if you're jumping into things, you're going to be in a saturated market. Now, you may create something that seems, a bit more innovative. Not too many people are doing it, or you may be the only one that you think are doing it, but nothing is new. Things develop and, get better over time, and it's a different way of doing things, but I can guarantee you what you're doing, probably not new. You're just doing it in a different way, right? And I actually got that from a book that I was just reading. And I was like, you know what? That is very, very true. So that was not my thought. That was a thought from somebody else. And it resonated with me because I was thinking about it, and it is true. Everybody that has a business or an idea, somebody else has already done it. They may not be doing it to the level that you're doing it, but nothing is new. All right. So how do you stand out in your market, right? How do you make what you're doing, your company, your brand, be the go-to for everybody else? Your goal is to be the first thing on someone's mind when they're trying to fill their need, fill their want, fill their problem, solve their problems, right? You want to be top of the list. So when someone is like, oh, I have a problem with my eczema, or, my skin is really dry, guess what? I want them to think Happily Naturally Me first and foremost before they think of anything else, right? Because I am the best solution for their problem. So how do you stand out in a saturated market? The very, very first thing, guys, I have, my notes, so I can make sure I don't forget to go over something with you. But the very first thing that you want to do is you have to know your audience. That is crucial to being able to stand out. You have to know what they like, what they dislike, what their habits are, what their lifestyle is like. This is super important because if you do not know your audience, how are you going to be able to serve them properly? How are you going to be able to know how to communicate with them properly? You have to know the psychology behind your ideal target audience. Very, very important. So that's the first thing that you need to do. So if you have not figured out who that target audience is, then you need to do that immediately. Whether you are in the Side Hustle Bootcamp or if you are a member of the Moms That Boss Inner Circle, that is something that we talk about. We have to dig deep and you have to know your audience. And we will work with you on being able to drill down and figure out what that is. Because it's one of those foundational things when it comes down to running your business. You have to build a strong foundation for it to grow, okay? Step number 2, show up. I remember when I first started out with my business, and I was scared. I was scared to tell people what I did. Why? I have no idea. That was so stupid of me, but it's the truth. I was afraid to tell people, like, show up on social media and do lives and things like that. And I struggled for a very long time. When people asked me what I did, I would lead with what I did for my 9 to 5. I would never lead with my business. And it wasn't until a while that I started leading with my business. And the reason I didn't lead with my business is because I wasn't that confident. And it's okay. I will admit, I was not that confident. And it wasn't that I wasn't confident in my products, because my products have always been like the best, but I wasn't that confident in myself. So that was the reason why I did not lead with my business. But you have to be loud about what it is that you are doing. You have to make sure that people know what it is. People cannot support you. They cannot buy your products if they do not know that they exist. So you have to figure that out. So once you are being loud about what it is that you do, you have to make sure that you are being loud about what it is that you do in your industry, in your niche. It's not enough to say, I make shea butter. Nope. It's not enough to say, I have a fashion boutique. You have to know who you're serving. Like I said, you have to know who you're serving, and you have to carve out where you fall in your industry. Once you can carve your spot, get your position, then you can work on dominating. You want to dominate your position in your industry. You want to, again, start making yourself the go-to person in your industry, in your niche. Okay? So you own a boutique. Who is your ideal target audience? Are you selling really trendy clothes? Are you selling luxury items? Like, what is it that you do? What kind of customer is coming to purchase your stuff? Figure that out, so you figure out your positioning and then dominates in that position, in that industry, in that niche. All right. So once you have figured out your target audience, figure out where you fall in your industry, the next thing is being clear on your messaging. This is so crucial when it comes down to your branding. Like, what's your mission? What's your purpose? Again, how are you serving your clients? What is it that you want people to think of when they first see your logo, hear your business name? What is it? If you do not know what you want people to portray your business as, you need to figure that out, and you need to start walking in that light, presenting yourself as that, as what you want your business to be known as. Okay? Super, super important. If your messaging is not clear, your target audience is not going to be able to relate to you. If your messaging is not clear, your marketing is going to be all over the place. Okay? So you need to get that figured out. Next thing that you need to do to make yourself stand out in a saturated market is your marketing strategy. But again, you can't figure that out if you don't know what your messaging is. You have no idea what your brand represents. You don't know what it is that you want people to think of when they see you. So you have to figure those things out and then tell the world so you can start building up your brand recognition. Once your messaging is down, you're going to put all of that in your messaging. You want your customers to be able to, or your target audience, what do you want to call them, guys? Your tribe, whatever. You want them to be able to relate to what you are talking about and be clear on how they can utilize you to fill their needs, to fill their wants, to fill, their problems that they're having. Like, you are the solution to their problem. And when you are doing your marketing, you cannot wing it, okay? You must have an actual marketing strategy. Super important. All of these things are very important, but do not try to wing your marketing. If you are in the Moms That Boss Inner Circle, you actually have a worksheet, a marketing campaign worksheet to help you with your marketing campaign. But here are a couple of things that your marketing campaign should actually have. One, your marketing campaign, you should be intentional about what it is that you are doing within your marketing campaign. All right? Like, what's your goal? Be organized when it comes down to your marketing campaign. Again, no winging it. Like, you should have everything planned out before you even start to market, okay? Have a clear objective. Like, what is your goal for that marketing campaign? And last but not least, make sure that your campaign is trackable. It needs to be trackable so that way you can identify what is working, what isn't working. So that way you can make some tweaks and you can use the data to help you with your next marketing campaign. And tip number 5 is to, of course, make sure that you are always being consistent. So let's think about this. We're going to take McDonald's as an example. McDonald's is super consistent. How often do you see McDonald's commercials? How often do you hear McDonald's commercials on the radio? How often do you drive past the McDonald's in your area? Like, you can go to another country and people know what a McDonald's is. Like, there's McDonald's everywhere. They are so super consistent about everything that they do. Right? Even coming down to how they prepare the food. Every McDonald's that you go into, they all follow the same system. Some McDonald's that you go into, depending on what country you're in, like if you go to a McDonald's in, in Italy, they may have a couple of different things on the menu, right? That you wouldn't find in the US, but their systems are all the same. The golden arches are all the same. Everything is consistent. Why? Because they are building a brand. I remember watching the movie, I think it was called Founder. It was basically about the guy who, I forget what his name is. Oh my God, I cannot remember. But it's basically about the guy who, made McDonald's what it is. It was not the McDonald's brothers. He pretty much kind of like stole their business from them. But one of the biggest things that he talked about and why McDonald's has been the franchise, the prototype for franchises is every person who wanted to be a McDonald's owner had to all follow the same systems. When he would go to check out a McDonald's, meet up with the franchise owners, like he would stop in or whatever, and he realized that they were doing something different, he would immediately get them to stop. Why? Because everything had to be consistent and the same across the board to build up the brand, right? Let's take another example. Let's take Fashion Nova, for example. How many text messages do you get per day when you are, or per week from Fashion Nova if you're on their list, their contact list? How many emails do you get from them? They're consistent about their messaging. They're consistent about being in your face and promoting their business. And you need to be the same exact way. And the reason why you want to make sure that you're being consistent and constantly being in, your target audience face is because when they are ready to buy from you, again, Moms That Boss, we're all about attracting ready to buy customers. So when they are ready to, when they have a need, when they have a want, you want them to think of you first. I'm ready to, buy an outfit to go out. Let me go see what Fashion Nova has. I need to grab a quick bite to eat, right? Because I have to take my kids to practice and I got to do this and that, and I don't have time to cook dinner. Oh, let's pick up some McDonald's really quick. Whether you eat McDonald's or not, like, you get what I'm saying, right? Be consistent. So those are some tips on how to make sure that you are standing out in a saturated market. So if you have any questions, let me know, drop them. And as always, make sure that you are sharing this with someone that you know that can utilize this information. And of course, make sure, if you have not already done so, that you go to momsthatboss.club, not .com, but .club, and get the MB3 method. This is the exact method that I personally use to transform my own product-based business and start attracting more ready-to-buy customers. And it is absolutely free to you. Why is it free to you? Because I want you to win. I want as many mompreneurs to win as possible, because I know what it was like to start my business and not have any idea what I was doing and the struggles I was going through. And if I would have had the knowledge that I had back then, it wouldn't have taken me as long to scale. So take this information, use it, apply it to your business, rock out, be your authentic self, and I will catch you later. Bye.